Hi, everybody. This is Steve from St. Laurent Brothers, and we're on Hay Bay City.
So you're originally from Petoskey.
Yep, I was raised in Petoskey, born in Cleveland, Ohio, raised in Petoskey. Graduated in 1971 and moved down here in 1985.
Oh wow! What caused the move from Ohio to Petoskey?
My dad was a physician and graduated from medical school and moved us from Cleveland to Harbor Springs, Michigan, actually, and was one of the original doctors at Burns Clinic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One of the OGs.
He was, I think, number 7 or number 8 of the physicians that started that thing. He was delivered half the kids I knew in that area.
Oh,
he was a small country town doctor and delivered half of Harbor Springs and half of Petoskey.
Well, thanks, Dad. When you left Petoskey, how old were you? Why'd you leave?
I was in early 30s. My roommate from college tried to sell Howard and Mary St. Laurent a computer. He was working for Bureaus. It was Keith Whitney, who was my partner. And they said they were getting out of the candy business and told him it was for sale. So he put together a group of people, of which there were 6, and he and I went to work there with an SBA loan. And
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? So the original group that bought the place was a group of 6?
Yes.
Is that,
Yep. It's
wow.
a lot of mother and father-in-laws and Keith's brother-in-law and father-in-law and his parents all were in on the financing, and as well as my wife and I, and there was 2 other people in there.
So it was a team effort, is what you're
Oh
saying.
yeah, well, nobody had any money, so we pooled what little we had and went from there.
Everybody's taking quarters and nickels and dimes out of their pocket. Let's buy a candy store.
Well, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was close.
What was the draw of owning the place?
Well, he's from here. He was from Essexville and born and raised here, and it was a famous place then. And he just always kind of had his eye on it. He wanted to go to work for himself, and so he and I started in 1985, and then he passed away 8 years ago. And since then, it's been my wife and I working there, and tried to continue on with the tradition. And she retired from teaching last year, and I'm getting too old for this.
You're also chasing down the retirement.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah. Do you remember your initial reaction when he first came to you and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying a candy store. Do you want in?" Were you all about the idea, or did you need some convincing?
Well, I didn't have a clue what it was. I never spent much time in Bay City, and he says, "Oh, it's a famous place," and they go like mad. So we came down and looked at it, and looked good to me. I was kind of not doing what I should have been doing anyway. I was kind of like a ne'er-do-well, but I was bartending, and we had a baby, and it was time to get on with life, so to speak, the other half of your life.
Time to get an adult job.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then we had 3 more kids when we moved down here, and then and the next 30 years of your life just disappear. From when the kids are born till the time they get out of college, it just goes like a snap of the fingers.
I can totally see that. So you guys buy the place, you buy St. Laurent. Wait, what was the learning curve like? Tell me about those initial kind of first couple of years.
Well, there's a lot more. I had no training in it at all, and Keith had business training, but not food manufacturing and chocolate production and that kind of stuff. But he was good in customer service, and so am I. And really, customer service is what can separate you or make you like the rest of people. So we have a kind of a mantra we try and teach the kids: if you wait on people like it's your grandmother, we'll never have a problem. And that's kind of what we tell them. That and the golden rule: don't treat people any differently you want to be treated. It doesn't always happen, but we've been pretty fortunate with the kids we've had.
Yeah. It seems like every time I go in there, there's a new, I don't want to say generation of high school kids working there, but it does seem like one of the signature places to work when you're in high school here in Bay City.
There's several hundred kids have gone through there since we've been there.
Yeah.
And try and get them in between their 10th and 11th grade, and the kids that usually stay on. They got work ethic. There's a lot of bad in the world, and kids don't want to do this, and kids don't want to do that, and people don't want to do this. Most of the kids that work for us do other things outside of school. They do sports, they do plays, they do band, they do all sorts of things, and still come to work. We got kids that'll finish up a triple header soccer game and show up and work a 5 to 8 shift, or a track meet or basketball or anything. And those, there is work ethic. There's no question.
I love it. So if anybody has ever been to Bay City, visitor, tourist, chances are they've swung by St. Laurent. It's one of the stops you have to make. So for people that haven't been to St. Laurent, can you give me like a 101 of what exactly it is here in Bay City?
The building's got 25,000 square feet, and we still manufacture natural peanut butter out back. Bring in the peanuts raw, and we roast them upstairs and manufacture that. And then we also bring in most of the nut meats raw and oil roast those upstairs, and then sell those, as well as make our hand-dipped chocolates out of that.
Wow.
We do cluster assortments. We do sugar-free cluster assortments. We do barks. A lot of stuff is brought in and repackaged and sold, but there's still a fair amount of it that is actually manufactured in the building.
Wild. And then, of course, you've got the retail space with all the candy you could ever hope to eat and all the ice cream you could ever stuff in your face.
Yep. There's on a given year, we'll put between 80 and 90,000 customers will come through the door.
Wow.
But there's about 3 to 1 that come in that pay. So if your grandpa brings in 2 kids, he only counts as 1. So the actual customer count through the door is somewhere between 250 and 350,000 people come through there. Yeah,
that is so many people.
And it's been an experience. A lot of good people come through that door.
Consistent through the years in the amount of people coming through?
Well, Bay City's done a marvelous job of changing their downtown or evolving it into successful downtown. From our door, you can hit 14 or 15 great restaurants that are, economical to eat at, or high-priced restaurants if you care, but all of them serve great food.
Yeah.
And, you just go right down the list. People ask us where to eat. I go, you throw a rock over that building, you'll land on a good store someplace.
As long as you go there to eat and then come here and wash it down with some ice cream after.
And we want them before they go eat. We want to get them before they do that.
So did the peanut butter, was that something that was present, the production of it from the beginning, from when you guys took over?
Now, some of this is urban legend, some of them just what I've heard. There's no real history of it, but they started manufacturing peanut butter in 1904.
Oh.
And the store was actually a couple blocks away by the railroad tracks, because that's how they brought the peanuts in.
Oh.
Yeah, there was no highway. There was no I-75 to bring peanuts up from Texas or South Carolina.
Right.
So then in 1911, they bought that building, and then I've actually added on 2 other buildings and covered it with that thing. There's actually 3 buildings under that tin.
Okay.
And the equipment is dependable, but it's to compete in the grocery store end of food sales, you have to be efficient, and we are not efficient.
Yeah, you're still kicking it old school.
We are do good with what we got, and I got a guy out back that's been making peanut butter for a long time and does a great job at it.
So I know the end product of peanut butter. I go to the store and I buy it, and then it comes out in the jar. How do you move a peanut from a peanut into peanut butter?
Well, there's 330 pounds at a time get dumped in a dry roaster. It's just a gas-fired roaster, and they turn and turn and turn until you get up to 310 to 315 degrees. It takes about 30 minutes. Then you have to cool them, because it's like a turkey. If you leave them bulked up, they'll still cook on the inside. So you got to throw them through a cooling tower and then over into a blancher where it knocks the peanut apart, knocks the heart out, takes the skins off, and then grinds up the peanuts. We run them through a mill, and we get a natural peanut butter. We don't add sugar. We don't add things to keep it stable, stabilizers.
Yeah.
We just serve natural peanut butter.
That's one of the things I love about it. I mean, you take a little scoop of St. Laurent peanut butter, and it tastes like peanuts, and I love that.
Yep, we sell it in several sizes. We sell it in jars, 3-pound pails, 5-pound pails, and a fair amount of 40-pound pails for bakeries that are baking peanut butter cookies or whatever. Lots of restaurants south of here take our peanut butter in bulk. We have a place that makes dog food bones, little dog bones, and they take the natural peanut butter because there's no additives, so it's an all-natural dog bone.
Treating those dogs like kings.
Some dogs got it pretty good.
Yeah, I love that. So 38 years you've been running this place? Looking back on those 38 years, what's been kind of the highlight of the experience for you? What do you love most about running this place?
People. Most people come in the candy store in a pretty good mood. Mm-hmm. Something's got to go wrong to make them go sour. So, and we've met a lot of good local people, and we've met some tremendous people who just stopped in, and it's been a great experience. The girls that work for us during the day probably recognize 70% of the people that walk through the door, and they engage them in conversation that, how's your dog doing? They're big Humane Society people. Very, very sociable people.
Yeah. That's good. I love what you said. Something's got to go wrong for somebody to be sad in the candy store.
It happens. Yeah. We try and keep it to a minimum, but you never know.
So you're headed towards retirement. Anything in store for you there? Are you traveling? Are you hanging out with grandkids?
Grandkids. I got 5 grandkids, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And one of them's in Texas. My son is in Texas with his wife and child, and we don't see them but a couple times a year, and that's going to change when we get time.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. And the other 4 are close enough that we see them a lot. Nancy took the 2 older girls down to Texas to see their cousin over for the birthday, and that's a big deal. Grandma traveling with her 2 grandkids that are 5 and 4 is a big deal.
Sounds like a big deal.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and they did well.
Did they? Okay.
Yep, they're required to behave in a certain manner, and she taught school for a long time, so they will behave in a certain manner.
I'm curious about this. Do you have a favorite piece of candy in the whole store?
Well, low balling thing is Spanish peanuts.
Oh, yeah?
Spanish peanuts that come in from Texas. When they're run through an oil roaster and they're fresh off the line, it's as good as it gets for me. Awesome. I used to be cashews, but I've eaten so many cashews over there. I'm losing those.
You've moved on to Spanish peanuts.
Yeah, Spanish peanuts. I love them.
Well, Steve, I think you're just absolutely delightful. I wish you the best in the sale of St. Laurent. I want to thank you, in case it doesn't get said to you publicly enough, just for what you and everybody else responsible for St. Laurent's has done in keeping such a landmark and a signature place in the hearts of so many people just up and running, and what it is, and the fact that you're trying to pass the torch so that it continues is just very, very cool. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you. It really has been a ride. It's been a wonderful place. It's put my kids through college. It's made it so we could do a lot of things. And the next person that carries the torch, I think they'll probably continue. I don't know that, but I'm sure that you're not going to forfeit 250,000 people coming through the door a year. And somebody will carry it on from there.
Excellent. I hope it's around for another 100 plus years. Thanks so much, Steve, for bringing the world St. Laurent.
It was there before I got there. It'll be there after I leave. So
awesome. Thank you so much, Steve.
Okay, thank you.